Hey guys, welcome back to the third part of the airport, and this will be the last part. I know I said I'll be making the airport in a 5 part of a single episode, but I decided that I would finish it a bit early. So I'm not exactly cutting any of the important parts of the airport. I'm just making it shorter, and I'm removing the process which has been repeated quite a lot of times, and I'll just be showing you the main final touch-ups I'm giving to the airport. That is like a few more lighting parts and a few more things that I'm left to build. So yeah, this is what this entire episode is gonna be. So I try to keep it as short as possible, so I have actually sped up the episode quite a lot. Actually, it's faster than the usual episodes. So these footage, normally I speed up the footage at 4 times, but this time I have actually sped it up to, I think, 5 times, 8 times and 12 times of 3 different clips. So yeah, that's there. So before I talk about more about this episode, I just want to say that I just want to keep it like a formal apology for not uploading any episode for the past 3 weeks. Actually, the last episode I released was, I think, in mid of Jan, or maybe even before that. Before that, I think it was on the second week of Jan or something like that. Anyways, it's actually very tough for me. I've actually been busy with some of my own personal things, because of which I was not able to record anything. Plus, I was actually going to release this episode last week, but I thought it would be released in a lot of hurry, so I decided to take my own time, to edit this episode nicely, so that I do not cut out any important things, and make sure that everything you watch is done only once, and reviewing the episode multiple times before I started recording the voiceovers. So that's I felt like that like there should be like a little explanation given to why I was missing for like 3 weeks. So yeah, that's the explanation. I don't have any other explanation to that. Anyways, getting back into the episode, the first thing you saw me do was add lights to the taxi tracks, which is, the side lights of the taxi tracks are already added in the base game, but I had to add center line lights, which are pretty necessary for any plane to get around the airport, because those lights are kind of which guides the nose wheel of the aircraft. And yeah, so that's what I was gonna do over there, and I sped up that footage like I think by 12 times or something, so that things gets out of it pretty fast. So the second thing you just saw me do like 30 seconds back was I was adding a few lights to the hangars. So the hangar area looked pretty dark over there, and I added like some roof lights, and I've added a few logos which have lights under it, and it looks pretty nice. The logos are pretty illuminated, and the hangar area looks also pretty lit up now. And now what you're seeing me do is add lights to the runways. I added all the other sorts of lights over here except the center line and the side lights. So you just saw me add the side lights over there, and I'm supposed to add a few more runway markings over here. So you might have seen on the runway that there are these 3 lines of fat block, and 2 lines and a single line marked on the runway. So these basically guide the pilots on where they're supposed to touch down. So where these thick blocks are there's 2 thick blocks on the runway, that's where the plane is ideally supposed to be touching down, and the rest of the places is just for guiding the pilot to tell him where to land exactly. Now you might have seen on different airports that there are these maintenance yard kind of a thing, which are built specially for those tractors, those baggage cart tractors, and those baggage carts, and the buses which run around the airport concrete. So this is the place which I'm trying to build over here. You'll see me add different types of baggage carts. Again, these are by Vasmir. I've just spread them out in a random order, and spread them out almost in the entire area. I wouldn't say the entire area, because I've added buses and tractor carts also in the same fence area. So this is the different. So I've added a few FedEx carts over here specifically, some empty carts, some carts with those curtain kind of things down, and these are the tractors which I've added over here. Pretty small, so that it was actually kind of tough filling up the area over here. And now this is one thing which I want to talk about. What you see me doing right now, I actually created a bus line with white lights. So this is not only the bus line which I've added actually the different kinds of baggage tractors running around the airport, and I also added the tankers, the fuel tankers running around the entire airport, and there are a few buses also which I've added to it. So this was actually possible, so it's not there in the base game. This was only possible by a functional hack kind of a thing, made by Vasmir. Again, it's a mod, and it was pretty interesting. And by the way, it works only on right hand traffic. It will not work on cities which have left hand traffic, so you have to make sure that your city has right hand traffic, otherwise normal buses will just spawn and start running around the airport. Plus you're supposed to make all these buses like the line color as white, so that they don't change color and they look entirely white. And here we are finally at the main detailing part of this airport, the plane stand. So like I said before, there are only 6 to 7 functional plane stands in the entire airport. Rest all of them are going to be props. So this is what I'm doing over here. I have tried to make different kind of templates which I'm going to be using in the entire airport. So I have one kind of template which is meant for the 787 Dreamliners. Then there is one template which is meant for only A380s, one only for the A350s, one for the 777s. Actually, I think I mixed the 777 and A350s because of their similar lengths and stuff. The only thing I had to change slightly while placing them was the second jet bridge, because the A350 actually has the second boarding gate kind of back and more nearer to the wing. So that's what I had to do over there, and I added a few gates. As you can see, I've started copying and placing them. So what I've done in the entire place is I've created the templates and I've pasted it across the entire airport, and then I have changed the planes, and I tried making sure that I added at least one plane of almost every airline that I have subscribed to in the entire Steam collection. So again, all the plane stand assets are again by Vasmir, and those planes are by multiple creators, and a few of those planes are again by Beastquackelhazen. So he has a pretty amazing collection of jets actually. So yeah, that's the different kind. This is the process which I'm using over here to fill up the entire airport almost. And then there are a few templates which I have actually made using 2 planes. So I've either made it for one big plane or 2 small planes parked together. You'll see it in a bit when I actually add plane stands which have 2 parkings, one maybe for an A320 and a 737, maybe for 2 A320s or 2 737s or something like that, or maybe even a 757, because if you see in US, most of the airlines still operate 757s. Why I have actually made things like this is because the plane stand you just saw, like you're seeing right now on the screen, is called Mars. I think it's multiple apron ramp system or something like that. It's again made by Vasmir. So this actually allows you to park either one plane or if one big plane, and if there's no one big plane, you can park 2 small planes. You can see as I'm doing it right now, I've placed a 757 and a 737, and I'm adding jet bridges over here which can reach both the planes. So this is the kind of template and formation which I have done in the entire airport. So yeah, this is the process by which I'm going to fill almost the entire airport. So the problem which I faced with the 737, like while making those 2 plane templates, was that the second plane was kind of placed a bit far from the spoke, which is coming out over there. You can see those small gate spoke kind of a thing. So it was kind of far from it. So what I tried doing was that I tried making my own custom jet bridge with the props which Vasmir has provided. But what I did later was I overlapped 2 of them, and I overlapped them so well that you can't actually make out that there are 2 different jet bridge gates over there. So yeah, that was pretty time saving. I saved a lot of time, and now you can see I'm building the 3 jet bridge A380 template over here. So usually you see in an A380 that there are 2 jet bridges which are down and one which is going for the upper deck. And I'll be very honest that I enjoyed making this a lot, like the different kinds of, like all the different sorts of templates which I made with different configurations and all that. It was a pretty interesting task. And it was pretty fast. I didn't waste a lot of time on this. Like, it took me I think an hour to finish the entire thing over here, and it was pretty interesting. I loved it. I am pretty sure, and whoever's gonna build this kind of an airport, he will also love it. And just now you saw that I shifted one of the jet bridges a bit more back because it was an A350. I actually love building the entire airport. Like, this entire airport project, these 3 episodes were really fun to record. This is not only because I love city skylines, but also because I love aviation. I love looking at planes, making things related to planes and everything. So it was a very interesting project for me. I really enjoyed making this. So whatever small tips and tricks and all the methods you saw me use while building this airport I've actually picked this up watching other creators, other city skylines creators, specifically Distanced and the FBS International Airport by B Square Colhazen, Flux Trans and Strict Toaster, like I said in the beginning of this series, this airport series, and they have done an incredible job with all of it. So I decided that before I would start making the airport, I would watch the entire series, and I know my airport is no match for what they have done, but I've tried to at least take all the basic tips and tricks possible out of that, and I've learned a lot of things from it. So huge shout out to those guys for making it so incredible. I just love it. Plus, if you remember, in the end of the previous episode, I had not surface painted the entire thing, and it looked very weird with all those small green patches in the entire airport of green patches of grass, and it was very weird. And you might have noticed in the beginning of this episode that I had actually surface painted the entire thing off camera, and the airport looked so much more better when all the concrete was in place. And there was this huge mass of concrete which can be seen on the map. If you actually zoom out and see it, there is a whole area in the corner which is actually filled with concrete, and you can make out that that's the airport. It's pretty distinctly visible while you zoom out from the map. And as you can see, the bus route which I added in the beginning of the episode, it has multiple fuel trucks, buses, and other cargo transport vehicles running around in the entire airport, and they're all white colored, and I tried adding a few more stops so that it looks a bit more realistic. The last thing I did was to finish the entire airport was actually add a few more lights. So you can see still until now I haven't actually made the other side. Now you'll see that I have actually skipped a lot of footage over here, because it was exactly the same thing. I just took it from the left side and copied it to the right, or the other way around, sorry. I took it from the right and I pasted it on the left, and it looks exactly the same, except I've changed the airlines of the planes which I've placed over there. As you can see, I've placed multiple airlines right here. And now you'll see that I have taken a template of baggage carts and I've placed them right next to the planes, as those are the baggage carts which are being used at the moment at those gates and stuff. And I've added a few belt loaders around them while making the template back there, and a few stairs behind too. Now the last thing I do in this airport, to be honest, is the last thing finally I do is add a few lights near all these gates. So as you can see, the gate area is pretty dark, so the last thing I do is add lights here near the cargo terminal and near those maintenance yards and the hangar areas, and the fuel farm.
It's far too late. Maybe I'm too old now. I'm just afraid that you walk away.
So I guess we're coming to the end of this episode. If you liked my content and wish to see more, please do subscribe to my channel. And if there's something you want me to improve in, whether it's my voiceover or content, please feel free to write it down in the comments or get in touch with me on Instagram or Twitter. So this is it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.